Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Today, our show will feature two of our most successful football programs with the Central AD, Nate Goodman, and the McLain AD, Jamar, Louie. We'll also have swim coaches from Memorial and Booker T to discuss their up-and-coming season. The supervisor of officials for basketball, Raymond Ships, will be here to discuss the new rules changes this year. Finally, we'll have Shelly Holman, the principal at Webster High School. We'll be right back with Jamar, Louie. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our first guest today is Jamar Louie, who's the athletics director at McLain High School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Well, it's been a good fall. When your football team's 6-3, everything works out, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about your football season.
We had a lot of returning seniors, and they were in big roles as far as our team, like the skill positions, and we got a lot of seniors that's playing the defensive line and offensive line, and so that's helped us with that experience reach the record of 6-3. Just some of the players that are highlighted for our team, like Dennis Nolan. He started off the season as a wide receiver, and he moved to running back, and he's pretty much taken off from there. Just this last game, he rushed for over 250 yards. We were hoping that he may challenge Josh Jacobs' record. He didn't quite get there, but he had one heck of a game.
We might, for the career, he has a good night and goes a couple of rounds in the playoffs. So are you in the playoffs?
Yes, we're in the playoffs. We're just jockeying for position right now. We're hopeful to get this win come Friday against Ulaga, and then just take that momentum on into the playoffs and challenge that next team.
Well, if you won this week, would you host?
No, we will not host.
We'll be going. Either way, you're going to be on the road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you know who you might play?
The two teams that we're hearing is either the Ada Cougars, or Poto.
I see.
So we'll be traveling either way.
Yeah, it's a good long trip too.
Yeah.
Ulaga this week, big game, beat them last year. What do you think about that ball game?
I think they learned from their experience last year as far in regards to Ulaga. We're expecting a tough game. We know we're celebrating senior night, so certain scenarios come across our seniors, them reflecting on their season, but we're hoping that it doesn't impact the game and that we come out and handle our business and come away with the victory.
Well, it's good to be able to control your own destiny. If you win, you know you're going to play. You got two tough opponents though. Ada and Poto are both good football programs.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about a little bit about the rest of your program. You got basketball starting now and wrestling. How are those programs?
In regards to wrestling, it's our second year with our coaches, Coach McNack and Coach Steele. But they have the wrestling program flourishing. I know one of our girl wrestlers, Aubrey Bolton. She is ranked in our class. She's almost expected to fight for the state championship in wrestling as far as for girls. As for boys, Devon Hines is probably the guy we want to spotlight, but I would keep my eye on a kid named Jarrell Alexander as well. He had some minor issues last year, but he's returned to us with a different frame of mind, so hopefully he'll be placed in that state. And he's just a sophomore. As far as girls basketball, we had pretty much everybody returning. We didn't have any seniors last year, so they should be a more experienced group. Of course, we have a new girls coach coming in this year, Coach Bobby Neely, but he's been doing a wonderful job of just coaching them hard and just making sure they implement the type of game plan that he wants to do. As far as the boys basketball team, Coach Rutherford is his, I want to say his 7th year.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we're regrouping this year as far as boys basketball. We do have a key player returning, KJ Nichols. He averaged 22 points last year, so we're hoping that he gives us the same kind of output because that's what we'll need to be successful as far as the boys team.
Well, I know they'll be prepared.
Yeah.
There's no question
definitely
about Coach Rutherford getting them prepared. How's that facility?
We're still enjoying the facility. We've actually, a lot of our alumni have reached out to us to try to see how they can, make improvements, but we're enjoying the facility. It's just providing like a cornerstone for our community. Because, our junior high also utilizes the facility. So it's just a collaborative effort out north to try to, just pub our athletic program.
Sure, and you've got a pretty good relationship with the Monroe Middle School.
Yeah, with Coach Johnson, who's their athletic director, and Coach Watkins. We're actually in the process of working out something to try to get the junior high to come check out our practices on Saturdays and just come and just get to know the coaches,
Sure.
Try to bridge the gap from junior high to high school.
It's always important to establish that relationship with
definitely.
those young kids. Well, Jamar, I'm glad you're here. Congratulations on a good football season, and good luck this Friday night and as you get into the playoffs. And when we come back, we'll have Nate Goodman, who's the athletics director of the Central Braves.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right, only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have the athletic director of the Central Braves, Nate Goodman. Nate, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Well, you've had a good fall season with your football team. Let's talk about football a little bit.
Man, this Friday is going to be a big game for us. This is the first time since the COVID year where they kind of allowed everybody to go, where we've had an opportunity to control our own destiny and we didn't need any help from anybody else. What we do dictates our outcome this week. And the opportunity presents itself that if we win, we're in. And that's a good feeling, not to have to depend on a team to lose and
by so many points.
It's straight out. Let's see who's going to play the hardest and come out and compete. And that person goes on to the next level.
And you got Bristow.
Bristol Pirates come to town this Friday.
What do you know about Bristow?
They're going to throw a lot of formations at you. It's a lot of trickery. I think if our kids play discipline and do what they're coached to do, we'll be successful. But it's not going to be easy. And usually in these situations, it never is. You have to. That's why they say you play the game to see the outcome of it.
Absolutely. You can't play all the game. I'll never forget Kip's done such a great job.
He's the best.
He's done a great job. And I'll never forget when Jason Gilly, the principal, called me after we'd had a resignation. And he said, I got the coach right here on the staff. And I said, an assistant coach? Are you kidding me? He said, oh, yeah. Yeah, he said, this guy is something else. I said, oh, yeah, we'll interview him. I mean, it's your school. So we came out for the interview. Blew everybody away. He had the notebook on how he was going to get kids prepared to go to the next level and how they keep them eligible. I thought, boy, this guy's going to do a good job. And I'm really happy for him and for Central to be in a position now where you do control your own destiny.
Yes, sir. Kip is he's an interesting character, man, but he is. I admire my head coach when I grew up in high school, but if I had to pick between having a coach, I would want to play with Coach Shaw. You know, the things that he does is bigger than football a lot of the times with him. He actually cares, and you can see the genuineness in the way the kids respond to him. So, you know, he's one of those, as an athletic director yourself, he's one of those guys you don't have to, you know, look after. It just, football does its own thing, and he's responsible for a lot of that, and that takes a lot of pressure off of me.
And being the dean of students.
Dean of students, he has a
really
super
helps.
relationship.
He knows where the trouble spots are.
I have a funny joke between him and Mr. Gilly. If something was to ever go wrong, I'm calling my own personal FBI, which is Kip Shaw and Jason Gilly.
There you go. Yeah.
Because there's nothing in that building that goes on that they don't know about, and I think that's a good thing. That comes from the rapport and the reputation that they have built with those students.
With those kids,
Yep.
yeah, that's the thing. And like you say, it's a true, sincere feeling.
Yes.
For those kids, and they get that.
Yes, sir.
You got so we got Bristow. Do you know what may happen if you win?
So the scenario is we'll cross over to District 4, which would be we'll be standing in position 4, which means we'll play number 1 on the other side, which means we get to stay in town and go over to Lincoln Christian.
Oh yeah.
And it's a well-oiled machine, but at the end of the day, you got to play the game.
That's why you play the game.
And
That's
I think
exactly right.
If we get in the motivation that our kids have, that'll be a huge achievement for them to carry, you know, not only for the rest of their lives, but into the next week as well.
Well, yeah, you know, this is. I always told our coaches that we're building a lifetime of memories.
Yes.
With high school athletics. I mean, these are guys who'll be friends forever.
Yes, sir.
You know, 40 years from now, they'll be friends when they come back for homecoming. You got a new program, wrestling.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I have a new coach, Colton Roberts. He is a fireball full of energy. And I think the fact that wrestling used to be prominent at Central, and he's very well versed on his history. And I think that provides another aspect of kids wanting to come out and compete, just to be a part of it. Most of our kids have never wrestled, but they've embraced it. They got new uniforms the other day, and I mean, you'd have thought it was Christmas in October. Just the energy level around, and seeing kids that typically don't compete in any other sports compete with wrestling is big for them, but also our school student body.
Oh yeah.
Because now they feel like they are a part of Central, and they have something to represent.
Being a part of a group is always the key. You know, we always just tell kids, I don't care what you do, whether it's speech, music, athletics.
Right.
Get involved with something.
Yes.
Because that makes you come to school every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know. In the last 30 seconds, you got basketball. You got a new basketball coach?
Yes, we got a new boys basketball coach, Greg Scott. He is doing a phenomenal job so far.
Good.
I think our numbers have went up right now in the gym, minus the football players. We have about 38 kids.
Oh my goodness.
So he has his hands full, but I think he's hired a staff that is willing to get in there and do the work. And we are looking for basketball to get back to the old Central ways.
Where it needs to be. You
yes.
bet. Well, I'm glad you're here, and it sounds like you had a good fall. And good luck this week and in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
When we come back, we'll have Virginia Gleason, the swim coach at Booker T.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person.
because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have the head swim coach of the Booker T. Washington Hornets, Virginia Gleason. Virginia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Gil.
Oh, brand new coach, brand new season.
I know.
Let's talk about your preseason preparation a little bit. How's that going?
It's going well. We had a lot of new swimmers this year, and we have a tradition at Booker T where every year we do what we call the black and orange scrimmage. And that is we split the team into two different teams, the black team and the orange team, and we run a full meet. Parents come in time, touch pads are in. We get to go through the whole thing so the new swimmers know what's happening. The old swimmers get a refresher course. So we did that. It was fun. The kids had a really good time. It's a great bonding experience. And then we hosted at Booker T a preseason scrimmage with Jinx and Bishop Kelly. And that was really fun. The kids did great. They had a good time. We had 8 kids finish top 4. If you know Jinx, that's good to finish top 4 against Jinx. And then we had a relay team that was top 4 in one of our girls' relay teams. So it's been a good preseason. We're just working hard at this point, practicing every day and getting ready for the real competition, which starts for us this Thursday. We're going to Union for the Union Invitational. So we're excited about that.
Well, that's good. The Booker T swim has been around forever. I mean, at one point it was the only swim we had, and then we've added back at Memorial and Edison for a while, to have swim programs. But
I might have actually been a Booker T swimmer back in my day.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So how was that?
It was fun. It was when we had the little bitty pool, 20 yards and 4 lanes. And it was fun, though. I had a blast.
That was the typical TPS pool.
Yeah.
We had those at almost every
little
school.
Guys, yep.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So who are some of your top performers, boys and girls?
Right now, I'm really excited. Our seniors, well, first of all, we had very few boys last year, and we've upped our boy count. We've got 14 boys and 27 girls for a total of 41 kids, which is a lot. So Zach Catalano is one of our boy seniors who I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's come a long way. And as far as girls, we've got Britton Hudo, and she's a sprinter. She swims a really fast 50 free and 100 free. And then Taryn Heck, who's an all-around just impressive swimmer. She can swim anything and swim it well. Juniors, we have a gentleman named Andrew King who is very impressive. He's also a sprinter. He likes to swim 100 fly. He's been really fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what he does this year. Lily Jennings is a backstroker. She's a junior. I'm hoping she makes it to state in her individual. As far as sophomores, we have 2 boys. Cameron Rourke, who's new to Booker T this year. He's from out of state, and he's moved to Tulsa. He's an all-around fantastic swimmer, can swim anything really fast. And then Jared Ingram, he's one of our swimmers that started out in some of the shorter events, and now he's doing the longer events. He's really good. On the girls' side, sophomores, we have Darby Gleason. She started out also as a sprinter, but she ended up making state in 2 individual events last year, the 200 and 400 free. So that was fun to watch, and I'm excited to see what she does this year. And then freshmen, we have Hayden Branham. Freshmen, it's always a wild card. You don't know where they're going to go. But he's looking good. And then we have another girl named Farrah Solomon. I'm really excited to see what they do and how much they can grow over the next 4 years.
A lot of your kids swim club in the summer? Or?
We actually had our program kind of commingled with Jinx's club program this last summer. And we have a few swimmers that swim club during the school year, but not too many this year.
That's good.
So, yeah.
As you look at your feeder program, Thoreau, do they still swim?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the Memorial coach because that was kind of a Memorial pool program. We used to have a middle school program, but we don't anymore. And I would love to see that come back.
Back at Carver.
Yeah, for some of the other kids.
Well, it's important, I think, if you're going to have a varsity program, you've got to have a feeder program at some point.
I agree.
As you get into the season, obviously you're in a very difficult division.
I know. We're 6A again this year. We were hoping maybe we'd get the bump, but both girls and boys are 6A.
Yeah, the numbers are a little bit different for swimming, I think.
They bumped a couple of schools around. Yeah. So that's where we are as far as swimming.
I think that has to do with some schools that don't have swimming.
I know.
And they move people up, and we've had a lot of discussions over the years with the Activities Association about that, but. Because numbers do mean the difference. I mean, there's no question.
I agree.
As you look at your program, what do you think the outlook for the season is?
So my goal always as a coach is that our athletes are students first. So we get them good and solid in their classes, make sure that they're keeping up with their schoolwork, that they're excelling there. And then we come to the pool, work hard. Swimming is a very difficult sport. You're doing what you would do anywhere else, but you're holding your breath while you do it, is what we like to say. So it's hard, and these kids work so hard. I mean, to be in a pool for 2 hours, number one, it's a little monotonous and boring, and number two, it's hard. Physically, mentally, it's hard to do. So they work hard. We set personal goals. I'm really excited to see the kids reach their both weekly personal goals and the goals they have for the entire season. And then most importantly for me is to have fun. It should be fun. Sports should be fun. These kids should have fun. They should bond with each other. And I want it to be fun. And then I want to win some races. You know, as we go through the season, I want to see some wins.
Improvement, yeah.
Bring home some some hardware.
Like I say, you're building relationships with kids, and they'll be friends forever.
I know.
You know, I mean, that's what's important about this. Well,
I'm still friends with my high school swim mate.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
This year.
Thank you.
Your first year at Booker T. And
thank you. I'm excited.
Hopefully we'll have you back when you're winning.
I would love that.
All right.
All right.
Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Emma Grantham, the swim coach at Memorial.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Emma Grantham, who is the head swim coach of Memorial Chargers. Emma, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Well, you getting into this season, how's your preseason work been?
Good. We didn't participate in any scrimmages this year. We really focused on conditioning. We had some kids graduate out of the program last year, and so we just focused on our new freshmen and sophomores that decided to join us and teach them how everything works.
How's your numbers?
Good. You know, we have a small pool, so we prefer a small team. So there's we have 3 boys, 5 girls, which is working well for us.
Good.
Yeah.
Now will you take those to meets and as individuals?
Hopefully all together as a team. The 3 boys, since there's a smaller number there, they tend to compete individually. But yeah, we practice as a team. Participate as though we are a large team. So
you work out at the same time.
Yeah.
With those numbers.
Yep.
Yeah. Is the pool in good shape?
Yeah.
Good.
We were just talking about the tiny pools with Virginia. We have one of the tiny pools, which is fun. So
right. That was the standard. It seemed like back in the day when they built those
absolutely.
pools.
I swam at Booker T, which now they have a new building, so they have a bigger pool, which was good. But it's fun to have a smaller pool.
We had one of those almost in every high school and middle school. Through the year, and the reasoning over the years was that in Oklahoma we had as much shoreline as they had around the Great Lakes.
Right.
So we need to teach kids how to swim.
Yeah.
And we kind of got away from that, I think, in our physical education classes and everything. But so as you look for your season this year, what are your goals for your team?
I mean, I will always want my athletes to be incredible students. I teach at Memorial. I'm really focused on the academic side of it. So always, firstly, academics, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. We didn't make it into the state competition last year. It'll be great if one of our swimmers makes it in this year. That's a goal, certainly. And just making sure, kids have fun. Swimming is a fun sport, and it's a hard one. There's a lot of reward that comes out of swimming, so making sure all of our students know that and just have a good time with it.
I think that's one of the things that was required of us in the college business is that we had to have a meeting with all the student athletes at least once a year.
Yeah.
So I would have the president come and the dean of students and the chief of campus police and a couple of my assistant ADs to talk about promotions and things. And I spoke last. And one of the things I always told them was, you know, while you're at this university, you'll take a lot of trips.
Yeah.
But to me, the most important trip you take is across the stage your senior year.
Yep, absolutely.
Because that's why we're there.
Yes.
You know, to educate people.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And when you lose sight of that, I think it's one of the best things that the National Federation did was when they talked about education-based athletics. You know, because that's what we have. You have all these club teams and all that are just athletics, period.
Yeah.
And do nothing with the academic side.
And that was something that was so well instilled with me in TPS athletics. So I certainly want my athletes to have the same experience.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
You know, what we talked about earlier is that we have a little bit of a problem with youth sports because the youth sports, they come in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, whatever, and there's no academic piece.
Right.
They're just playing with, you know, whoever, and they can play whether they're failing or whether they're not going to school even.
Right.
And all of a sudden they come into our program, and by the OSSA standard, they've got to pass every class every week.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we've got an eligibility problem because they're not used to that.
Well, and it really puts the attention on sportsmanship and making sure that you are a good leader, you know, both in your sport and in the school, which I think is great. I think that is an admirable thing that we should want for.
What's your biggest challenge as a coach?
I mean, I would say just instilling personal discipline in them. You know, sometimes kids just don't show up to practice, and I see them the next day. I'm like, why weren't you there? You know, and making sure that there's some sort of communication between, you know, what's happening and knowing what's happening.
Communication is critical.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we use it all the time, even, you know, not in sports, and students need to learn that. And I think just making sure, you know, you have kids that come into swimming and think, well, I like being in the pool in the summer, right? And so you have to get them into the mindset of, oh, well, you know, there are all these rules that we put into place for swimming, and you know, you have to be fast and you have to be able to temper yourself well. So that's certainly a challenge, is getting them to switch that mindset.
That is always critical with that and social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a problem for everybody. And now we've got AI.
Yeah.
And Lord only knows what that's going to be.
Who knows?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're glad you're here. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Hope you reach your goals. And when we come back, we're going to have Raymond Ship, who is the supervisor of officials.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLain, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Raymond Ships, Supervisor of Officials and Director of Athletics at Edison High School. Raymond, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gil. Welcome.
New changes this year in basketball rules. My goodness, this should be really, really interesting for the fans and the coaches and the players and the officials.
You know what they say about change. They do things to make the game better, and I think for this one it'll speed it up. And it'll be more points, especially with the change in the foul count to where in the penalty is after 5 shots and they reset every quarter. So
let's go through that. We're gonna have 5 fouls instead of 7, and it resets each of the four quarters during the game.
Yes, sir, except in overtime. Overtime, it's extension of the fourth quarter, so it'll stay the same.
Stay the same. So if you carry 5 fouls into there, it's still just going to be 2 shots.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't start all over.
Don't start all over.
Okay. And it'll be 2 shots, period, not 1 and 1.
Not 1 and 1. 1 and 1 is gone.
1 and 1. How do you feel about that?
Well, to me, I've seen it work at the college level on the women's side, and I think it's going to be better for the game because, number one, it's going to make us as officials better because we know that every foul counts towards points. So we want to make sure we don't put any marginal fouls in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll make it exciting for the teams because, number one, they got to play clean. And if they don't play clean after 5 fouls, they're giving up 2 points, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other rule changes?
Well, throw-ins. So there's 4 marks for throw-ins after a foul, violation, or timeout, where they're at the 28-foot mark, which is at the top of the coach's box on each side, and 3 feet away from each end line on the baseline is where we'll have the 4 throw-in spots for high school basketball now.
No, will they be marked with X's or just visually?
It's going to have to be visually this year, you know, putting the 3-foot tick mark like they have in college in. It came into the federation too late for the schools to try to get that done, paint the floor.
Right.
And so what we do, and what I taught our guys to do, is look across at the coach's box. We have the chairs set up. The chairs shouldn't go past the 28-foot mark. That tells you if you're across the court, that's where you should be putting the ball in play.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see. Any other changes?
Running out of bounds on your own volition. If a player runs out of bounds on his own volition, meaning that he just took it upon himself to run out of bounds, and he come in on the other side and the first to touch, it's a violation.
So if I'm running down the court and I happen just to step on the line, am I out of bounds?
And you don't have the ball, no.
Okay.
He's trying to gain advantage. That's what we're looking at. Now, if his momentum take him out of bounds and he come back in and he's established on the court, he's fine. She's fine.
And to reestablish, you had both feet on the court.
Both feet in bounds.
Yeah. There you go.
Lastly, we have a lot of uniform stuff. And it's going to be imperative that those coaches come to our meeting that we have set up with them next Wednesday, that we can go over and talk about what they can wear under their jerseys now. You know, you're talking about for undershirts, they got to be black, white, or the dominant color of the uniform. Mm-hmm. And they all have to be the same. So it's a lot of stuff going on.
The white and the black and the red
no, sir.
On the same team.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. Get some uniformity out there.
That'll be interesting. That'll be real interesting. I remember one year that we had a coach that bought some camouflage.
Oh, I remember that year as well. And I think those uniforms are collecting dust.
Well, you know, I told him, I said, you'll have the best practice uniforms in the state.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, it's good to have that uniformity, I think. You got to have rules. I mean, you know, you live by rules in your profession, and as we all do. And if kids don't learn that early on, then it's not, we're not educating them properly.
That's correct.
How are you for numbers of officials? I know that's been a problem across the country, that official numbers are down. How are you looking at yours this year?
Well, we're fortunate. Every year we get new officials in. I think we had upwards of 12 new young referees that came in first time out officiating. We trained about 25 new ones this summer at our camp at TU. 12 of them came back to us in the fall to work with us. So we're looking pretty good. I will say that I have assigned all of my games through the 2nd of February, and I still have people left over in case of injuries. And by the time we get to the second half, I will have trained enough new referees who earn the right to get on the floor in the varsity game where we could trickle them in and get them some experience. So that's what we're doing here. We're just trying to build the guys up to take our place. That's the goal.
Well, that's important because we don't have officials. We don't have games.
That's true. That's true.
Well, Raymond, we're glad you're here. Good luck this year. Hope we have a great year officiating and at Edison.
Yes, sir. And Gil, you know what? It's always good to see you, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to be seen.
Yes, sir.
And when we come back, we'll have Francie Hamer, the cross-country coach at Edison.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Francie Hamer, who is the cross-country coach from Edison. Francie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You were here not long ago, and we want to talk about some of your successes that you've had this year. Talk about some of the highlights of cross-country.
So both our boys and girls teams have had a really great season. Our girls has had a tremendous season. We finished out the year, top 3 in most of our races. Our boys within the top 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of good standout performers and individual runners. So they had a really good year.
That's fantastic. Do you have a lot of those that will be returning next year?
So almost all of our girls varsity team is returning next year.
Oh,
so we're excited about that. We are losing a handful of our boys as seniors, but we have a really good group of freshman boys coming up that are going to just fill in those spots nicely.
Do you have a tendency, because cross country is a difficult sport. I mean, it's
it is
to be able to train. The way you have to train to be able to be in shape. Do you lose kids as they get older?
We do. We kind of they kind of lose focus. They also lose kind of that motivation. It's kind of hard to keep them motivated because cross country, I mean, yes, you're doing strength training and you're building, but it's running, and we lose a lot to other sports. So like soccer. Yeah. Some of those others that are.
I knew that when I was at Union, we won 6 girls state champions in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But every year it was a different mixture
yes.
of girls because they found the high steppers or cheerleading,
yes.
or softball or something like that, and it just it was a. I know it's a difficult sport because of the conditioning.
It is, and we're always happy to share our athletes with others, but it's, sometimes they'll pick one over the other, and then
sure.
we're the ones that kind of get the short end of the
stick.
And
the amount of training is involved is probably a little bit more than most other programs.
It is. It's funny. One of my kids, not a high schooler, but one of my junior high kids, started off the season and then ended up going to another sport. And when I questioned, why aren't you sticking with cross country? And they were like, I didn't know it was that much running. It was just funny. I'm like,
yeah, really?
That's
do your kids run with the clubs in the summer, or do they train on their own? Or?
So they train on their own, and then we do have a couple who we will recommend to maybe certain camps, but usually when we're off season or conditioning, we really want them to be with the coaches. Mm-hmm. So that way, because everyone has a different philosophy, methodology of how they coach, and
sure.
we just would like them to kind of stick
with
ours.
with the ruling that you can start in July, which I thought was good because
yes.
it would put kids, I think, at a disadvantage from a conditioning standpoint with the coach and everything. To be in August sometime, and you have a meet, and 3 weeks.
Right.
You know?
First week of school, we're
Yeah.
having to compete, and so it is kind of hard.
So that's a good thing for you. But so let's talk about your junior high program now. The numbers there are pretty good.
Yeah, right now I am the junior high head coach, and for the boys and the girls, and we're sitting at 30 students right now, and the transition from junior high to varsity is pretty strong. I mean, most of our varsity runners, most of them came from the junior high program, so I'm very proud of that. And so.
So you think you've got the basis to continue on?
I think so. I think we've got a good system. I think that all of the coaches work really well with each other. And then I think with me being over the junior high and then also with the high school, it gives them that familiarity that we want them to have, you know, and then transitioning, because it can be a little intimidating going from a 1.5 mile, 2 mile distance to a 5K.
Right,
And
exactly.
then, yeah.
Well, establishing that relationship too is keeping kids engaged and coming to school.
Absolutely,
is
yes, it is
I
important.
think. What have you found to be the most difficult thing in coaching?
I think the most difficult thing in coaching, I would say, maybe just keeping them motivated and helping them understand the difference between I'm sore and I'm injured. I think that is the most difficult, is them just being, you know, more in tuned and understanding the differences between those two things.
That's big. I think you hit it on the head because, and that's in every sport.
Yes.
You know,
sure.
am I injured or am I just sore?
Right.
You know, and can I make it through this or can I not? And it's like I was at the doctor this week and he said, now if the pain gets too intense, and I said, what is too intense?
Right.
Because I can take a lot of pain, you know, some can, but some people can't.
Everybody has that pain tolerance.
Well, Francie, we're glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Good luck this next year.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
We'll have you back next year.
All
I'm
right,
sure.
sounds good.
When we come back, we'll have Greg Nash, who is the head cross-country coach of the Booker T. Washington Hornets.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Greg Nash, who's the head cross-country coach of the Booker T. Washington Hornets. Greg, welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you, Gil. Appreciate
it. You had a great year this year in cross-country.
Yes, very exciting. Had a good year. Had good leadership in the senior class. They come out and perform very well at the meets and had an outstanding year. That's one of the best seasons we've had in several years. So I'm really proud and excited about the program.
Talk about some of your kids that did well this year.
Sam Freeman, senior, twin brother Max Freeman. Sam finished 5th in the cross-country state meet in 5A, top 5. So did an outstanding job. His brother was, I think, 22nd or 23rd in the meet. And we ended up coming in 7th place in 5A state at Edmond.
Excellent. Now, you got an academic award this year, too.
Yes. Which happened a couple of times. The boys this year was academic state champions in 5A. They had a 4.0 GPA and had an outstanding effort in the classroom. Those guys are focused, and they always put academics number one, especially at Booker T. Washington High School. Their emphasis is on academics, and then secondary is always athletics.
Well, I tell you, that's quintessential, I think, to successful athletic program. If you got good students,
yes,
they're easier to coach, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep, there is. That means that, you got good student athletes that's performing well in the classroom. They usually perform well on the athletic playing field and do a good job. They're disciplined, they're structured, and they put out a good effort at all times.
How's your girls' team?
Girls' teams, they're pretty good. We got Aya Palmer was our leader on the girls. She's a senior. I got several senior girls, so we'll lose quite a few seniors this year on the girls' team. We'll have to come back and reload on the girls. We got enough girls to compete next year and come back and have a good, successful season.
How's the transition to 5A been?
Whew. Being in 5A is probably where we probably need to be at Booker T. A lot of those giants in 6A with large enrollments, which that's no excuse, but we always went out and performed well no matter what class we were in. Our kids always was up for the challenge and did an excellent job in preparing themselves. But it's a little better for us, I think, confidence-wise. We get their confidence built up a little bit better. Being in 5A where it's a little bit more competitive for them and they can compete, because when big schools, it's hard, when you're competing with the top 32 schools in 6A.
Well, you got 5,000 students.
Yes.
You've got 1,200.
Yes. The numbers are different.
That doesn't work out well.
Right.
How's your feeder program, junior high program?
Carver's got some good young kids. The young man they hired over did a good job with the cross country program this year. They had a few practices with us, and during the summer they worked out and got another brother coming. One of the Louie boys. Got two of them already at Booker T, so we'll have one more coming that will add to the program that's coming in from the feeder program at Carver. They got several outstanding runners and several girls that will help add to our program.
Will they also have track?
Yes. Carver has middle school track that feed right in. As a matter of fact, we got several kids that was on Carver's track team last spring have joined as freshmen at Booker T, and it's a pretty good little group of kids.
That's good. Good to have that transition from middle school to high school. That's
Yes.
I think important. What do you think the future of your cross country and track program is at Booker T?
I think we have a very bright future. Like I said, the boys, we have about 30 boys. We got some good young runners coming back. So we shouldn't drop off on the boys too much. The girls, got to get a few more girls in running cross country. Like I said, we'll lose pretty much the nucleus of the girls team this year, but we got some young girls that'll come in and fill in and keep the program going right straight forward.
Excellent. What's your biggest challenge as a coach?
The biggest challenge is as a coach is sometimes making sure that they always do the right thing, make sure they're prepared, bring the shoes, come ready to go each day for practice. So we have to make sure that we're always disciplined in those areas and doing what's right for the program.
I think that's universal with the coaches these days. I think kids have so many things going on in their mind with the social media and all this other that they forget about the mundane, fundamental things they need to do every day.
Yes, that's why I tell them just make sure in the morning or at night, I tell them just make sure you get your bag packed and know that we got practice the next day so they won't forget their stuff at the front door in mom's car or whatever. So they got to be focused and be disciplined of when they come to practice, come to school, be prepared, ready to go to practice.
Exactly. Well, Greg, thanks for being here today. Congratulations on the academic state championship. I think that's fantastic, and on a great year this year.
Appreciate that, Gil. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you too. We'll be right back. We'll have Shelly Holman, who is the principal at Webster High School.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our guest today is a special guest, Shelly Holman, the principal, Daniel Webster High School. Shelly, thank you for coming today.
I'm glad to be here. I love to come down to our studio that's right here in Webster.
Isn't it great?
It's a great studio, great program for us.
Everybody that we bring in here is just amazed at the setup and the work that Dennis has done down here with Ricky and everything, and your support, obviously, for the program has been fantastic, and we appreciate it from an athletics standpoint because it goes all over the state of Oklahoma.
Oh, it works both ways, supporting athletics in Tulsa Public Schools and getting our program out and spreading the word. But what great process and program we have here at Webster.
We had a big news release last week on security items for athletic events from a principal's standpoint. How important is that, and what is your take on these mechanisms that we have?
Well, safety and security is a priority for Tulsa Public Schools, for all school sites. Super impressed with the rollout of the weapons detection systems on our campuses. We use it daily for our entrances. That's gone over into our athletics. Clear bag policy is super important now, and we're really strong and make sure that everyone's following those policies. And as a principal, I love it because I love to enjoy the game. So I'm a huge supporter and fan, and I want everybody to be safe and come for the right reasons to support our student athletes and our coaches. So our entrance procedures are pretty clear. They're posted. You must have a clear bag to enter. We are we go hard on making sure our students have student IDs, and that those students that come to our games are the students who belong to either school that's playing. So far we've had a really good turnout with our visiting teams that outside of Tulsa Public Schools, and they've adhered to all of the rules without any problems. Of course, we all have the same goal, is safety and security. We make sure our middle school students have parents with them per policy, and we make sure that we utilize our campus police officers in the way that they're supposed to be utilized, and they've been very supportive and just a welcoming environment. We don't want it to look too intrusive, but it's a pretty welcoming environment when they come through the gates.
You know, the thing about it, some people, first impression is everything. And when we play people from out of town and they come onto the campus, it's the first time and maybe the last time they'll ever be on this campus.
Right.
Is that athletic event. And so it's important, I think, from a customer service standpoint, they feel safe and they feel entertained, because it is entertainment.
Absolutely. And to me, I mean, that's what everybody's coming for. They're coming for a good time. They love athletics. Their students, their colleagues, their peers, you know, their children are playing. I grew up in athletics. It's a different world. It's a different time. So I think right now we really haven't had any complaints. It's just a process that's in place, and you live by that process, and you follow our entry procedures, and we move forward and have a good time.
I think the culture in the country has changed a little bit with all the mass shootings and things that have gone on, that the patron appreciates that they have the opportunity to be safe because there have been some implementation of equipment and so on and protocols.
Right.
Switching a little bit, you have a new basketball coach.
We do. We have Coach Henry, and he is from another TPS school, but we are really excited to have him in blue as a warrior. He's energetic. He's got some good students ready. He said the environment over there is just energy. It's electric. Young players that haven't gotten a lot of playing time are now seeing playing time. And I'm just more than happy to have Coach Henry with us. I think he's a great teacher. He teaches special needs students as well. Mm-hmm. So he's just assimilated into our culture and become one of us, and he looks good in blue.
Well, that's always exciting when you get the new coach and they get the opportunity to build their program from the bottom up.
Right.
And your daughter is in athletic training now.
Thank you for bringing that up. My daughter is a product of TPS, went through Mayo, went through Thoreau, graduated from Booker T. Washington in 2017. Shout out to the schools that brought her up through the ranks, went on to OSU, very successful, completed a master's degree, and landed a great athletic training job in Mustang, Oklahoma. So she is still with us, and I love to see her when she comes into town, but she is still with us in the athletic field, and she owes a lot to TPS for her internships, and want to shout out, Mick Wilson for giving her those opportunities to come and get just a great experience with Tulsa Public Schools before she landed a job.
She'll be very, very busy.
She's very busy now.
With that Mustang, and there are only 3 of them.
That's right. Yes.
She'll have a lot to do. Well, congratulations on that
Thank
to
you.
your daughter. And,
Thank you.
And good luck this year. Hope everything
Yes.
goes well as we transition from fall to winter.
Yes. It's that time.
We'll be back after these messages, and thank Shelly for taking out of her time to join us today.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We hope you enjoyed today's show featuring football, basketball, and wrestling. We had basketball supervisor of officials Raymond here to talk about the new rules changes and updates for the coming season. Central and McLain's ADs were here to talk about their successful football season and the possibility of playoffs. And cross-country coaches from Booker T and Edison talked about their successes. We also want to thank Shelly Holman, the principal at Webster High School, for filling in today and one of our vacant spots, the person who could not be here, and she did a great job in talking about game management from a principal standpoint. As we continue to the 23-24 athletic season, we want to make sure we thank you for all your support of our programs, our students, and our athletes. We'll see you again in 2 weeks in our next episode of Inside Tulsa Athletics.